As a professional forester, I'm trying to provide my expertise to the landowners to guide them. Some of the issues that come up with landowners and the legacy and transfer of their property will be what they really want to do with the property. We've seen properties managed in common where the income is just split between the siblings. We've also seen where the individuals want to manage the property individually, so they split the property up. When properties are split up in that fashion, sometimes problems arise such as access, such as retained rights, mineral rights as an example. A professional forester will help solve some of the disagreements by bringing to light what is actually capable of being done on the property.
Our goals are simple. We want to keep this land together, keep it in forest land, to keep it in productive forest land, to keep it in the family. When my great-grandfather and his family moved here, this land was growing second-growth redwood and Doug fir, but there was no market for it at the time. So their intention from the beginning was to grow timber. It takes many years against the time when there would be a market for it, and eventually there was. 70 years later, our forest is owned by 3 branches, my father's branch and his 2 sisters. In my family, there's a history of strong women. It's not necessarily been egalitarian as a value, it's just that the personalities were such that it was happening. They made sure that the daughters' landholding, even if they married, would be under their control. My grandparents had seen very messy land transitions, inheritances, across families. So my grandparents came up with their scheme to keep things fair by taking 40 to 60 acre parcels, checkerboarded parcels, and giving them to each of the 3 children such that each would be bordering on the other, but they would have mutual access. In that way, making it possible for each of the 3 to manage their holdings independently. At the same time, all 3 had to cooperate. We all love it, we all use it in different ways. We collaborate with a professional forester. He's sort of a family diplomat as far as the business end, and that enables us to have a peaceful family.
The management of this property is a little different from typical properties in that it is checkerboarded up, and that presents its own logistical issues. But legally, they're required to work together, and it's not always easy, but with the spirit of cooperation that they have, we've always been able to work it out. We sit down at the beginning of the season and try to forecast what we see are going to be the required expenditures over that season, such as the roads, forest inventory, forest growth remeasurement, a number of things like that, that's shared costs. Claire and her family depend on my knowledge of the local log market to help guide them through the season and get them the most money that we can get for the timber that we're trying to sell.
Our forester works with each family to tailor the timber harvest for each family's income needs. He does this in an annual cycle, and so far, since we've been able to keep the forest land together, we're all prospering. Forest land of its very nature needs not to be split up. When you split it up, it's harder for the wildlife, it's harder for the trees. It cannot be well managed. If land isn't actively managed, it's a fire risk. Unmanaged land, it's maybe the worst thing for the surrounding land and also for the community. While my grandparents passed their land down by using parcels, they tried to avoid the negative parts of parcelizing land by making sure that there was no access except within the family to those parcels. That limits the family's ability to sell individuals' parcels outside the family. I think my grandparents would be very pleased that we've been able to hold the forest together. I'm passionate about our forest. It's just filled with history. There's nothing like a forest property to make you feel like you're just experiencing a little drop in the flow of time.